Make every night a wonderful journey, no matter where you are. Good night, sweet dreams. The first story, 93,064th Goodbye, November 18, 2063, 23:38. The sky is dark and placid, a haven of peace and quiet in our chaotic life. It is dotted with stars, albeit barely seen in the bright lights of the city. Their glow is faint, yet prominent. I cast my glance aside and see her, eyes closed as if deep in thought, enjoying the fresh air as her hair billows in the strong wind. The sunken garden is beautiful at night, peaceful and calming. She opens an eye at me, and I tell her that we should retire for the night. We drive off in our old beat-up Volkswagen Bug, resigned in our own thoughts. February 20th, 2060 for 21:43. She still has no idea. I don't have the guts to tell her. No, not until the day comes. I'll just have to wait it out. She deserves to know. But I can't handle goodbyes, even before. I feel like I've betrayed her, like I'm about to betray her. But I was sent here to assess the situation and judge them. Unfortunately, the assessment period is nearing its end and the results aren't good. These people will fall and I will have to go back. March 1 Street 2060 for 15:21. Still haven't told her. I don't plan to now. The due date is near. We were eating at our favorite cafe. Her eyes sparkle as she tells me about her day. She is one of the few things good about this damned world. March 20, 3RD 2064, 824. Today is the day everything will fall into place and I will leave this plane of existence. I will continue my job as adjudicator and move on, even though she and the rest of their race will not. This is my job. It has been for thousands of years and it will be for thousands more to come. 12:49. I haven't seen her all day. I'm going to take her out to dinner, put on a good show before she finally finds out, and leave with a meaningful goodbye. 1906. Having dinner with her tonight is nice, but my mind is still wrought with melancholy. More than 100 Earthen years ago, I felt this too, standing on another world, with different people and a different environment. I will miss her, like I have missed many before her. Mine is a sad life, but however lonely I must do it. 23:48. The gate is open and the explosion within the core triggered. The shock wave will reach the surface within moments. She's watching me as I talk to my colleagues. For some reason she is unafraid. 235,852. I walk over to her and tell her my story. Why I was sent here. What I must do. What I have done. And I say goodbye. 0. She leans over to me and whispers, I know, dear. I have all along. The second story. Scott Joplin's legacy. Scott Joplin in his earlier days. As a laid-off worker at the Manhattan Psychiatric Center, I had many memories to go over. The times with the patients, cleaning the cafeteria, and most of all, exploring the old halls that have been forgotten. One wing, Wing C, was home to the famous celebrities who went insane. Most commonly syphilis, some people, like Mabel Bowl, also known as the Queen of Hearts, and Wilhelm Steinitz walked down those very halls every day. All the history lessons that could be taught from such a deranged place as so. But one person stuck out: Scott Joplin. Now, you probably haven't heard of him, but you most likely have heard his music once in your lifetime. I know I have, and it stayed in my head. The sweeping jazz melodies, the slow, bitter rags of his latter years. and the one song which was my favorite, the Maple Leaf Rag. Now, you've probably never heard of this, but its fast tempo and steady pace introduced me to an amazing new branch of music to enjoy. I put it on my iPod, set it on repeat, and swept the halls of that place. On one such occasion, though, I felt an ominous presence coming from room 3 in Hall C. That cold feeling that turns you pale just thinking about it. I shrugged off and kept sweeping since no one was there. I took out the headphones and plugged the iPod into a dock so I could hear it down the hall. But once I passed room 3, things turned strange for me. I swore I remember the good days when I could play that fast. But then again, it could have just been one of the insane people's muffled screams that happen oh so common in a place like this. But it sounded like it was right in front of me. So I checked room 3, and the bed sheets had been moved, as if somebody got out of it. Then I heard something right behind me was a person, older than me, and he said, "Strange, isn't it?" I replied with a simple, "Well, sir, what's so strange?" He replied, "As the days go on, the people here seem to get crazier than I was all those years ago." I rubbernecked around, and before my eyes was the figure of him, Scott Joplin before my eyes, though I can't really say, in the flesh. I don't know what he was made up of. He continued his speech. "It's sad how these people have never had a talent before they wound up here. Well, then again, with nothing but beds and a cafeteria, what's the use of having a talent? You can't use it here." I asked the figure if he was just pretending to be Scott, and that it wasn't just some costume. Then he said, "I'll prove it." All of a sudden, he led me to his room, and what I saw could not have been real. A piano was already in his room, and he began to play it. He started out The Entertainer, one of his most famous pieces, and I instantly knew it was him just the way the song was played. The fast movements of his left hand caused me to recognize the tune instantly, so I said, "It really is you. But how can it be you if you died over 90 years ago?" He said back, "It's in the soul. As long as your life will live on, your soul will remain on this earth." What about all of the forgotten ones, who hadn't made a great enough impact on this earth to be remembered? Well, they go on. They go to wherever they believed they would go. I asked, "Do you enjoy it here?" He obviously replied no, but he said you're always where you finally rested until you pass on. So people like John Kennedy will walk Elm Street until people find other things to remember, and that he'll pass on when people find other music that entertains them. I pondered and thought, does this apply to everyone? He said yes, and that everyone on earth, even me. He walked back into his room, closed the door, and that was the last time I had ever seen him. The meeting with Scott stayed with me up until today, when I packed my bags and headed out the door of the asylum. Laid off due to Congress's recent budget cuts, it then hit me. If you can measure your impact in time, how would that impact you? I mean, the Civil War. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers killed, and only to roam the battlefields as long as their comrades mourned for them, which wouldn't be long until reports of that man's next friend died, and him moving on there is Abraham Lincoln, leader of the North and the United States for 5 years, whom has been roaming Fort Theater for over 150 years. This brought the talk back to me. I thought, what have I done? I dropped out of high school. The only people who knew me are either states out or gone, and I'm unemployed. I've made no impact at all towards this planet, and where does that leave me? If I die tomorrow for some reason, how long will people remember me for? Days? Hours? Maybe even minutes. So, as I leave this page, I feel it is my need to make something for people, to try to help people in need, so after I'm gone, people will say, I remember that guy. He helped put clothes on my back and get my life back on track, and I will be there to watch and protect those who remembered me. Now in closing, I want you to think of your relatives who are now gone. Hopefully nobody's negligent, so let them pass on to their final destination, and I'll protect you as I will. The third story. Go forth. Perhaps you may encounter a beast such as this. Cruel frailties prevent me from doing more. I must entrust this task to you, as you are the only one who can inherit my previous strength. I have tried my best, but it is simply not enough. I feel my strength failing me as I type this. I do not doubt that my death is imminent. No, in fact, I graciously accept it. Now I can finally rest in peace. But to do so without passing on whatever legacy I had inherited and birthed and burdened myself with wouldn't be fair. To you or to the world, No, we need a new person to take over, and you are that person. You will have great difficulty in dealing with the enemy. I assure you, for the confrontation you must prepare. Like I have, unfortunately my preparation wasn't enough, as I had to retreat and resign myself to death. Be vigilant. The enemy is quick and merciless. Do not let him catch you in his grasps, for that might be the end of you. Be prepared. The enemy will throw many things your way, and you must throw much his way. You must never run out of supplies or implements. Be crafty. The enemy has many eyes all around. He can see you move. He is battle-hardened and knowledgeable. Strike while he least expects it. Strike not when he seems weak, but when he seems stronger than ever. And for the love of God, strike or be fast. Move fast. Think fast, strike fast. That is how you will win, and be brave. It will take great courage to even approach the entity, even more to stand against it. That is all I can tell you. The rest you must figure out. I know it seems stupid and unnecessary to delay telling you things of import, but these are not my secrets. In my travels I have talked to many and encountered much more. I do not expect you to understand right away, but be as quick as possible. Before I finish, I'll tell you right now that when the day comes, no one will watch over you but yourself. You will be alone, and you will only need yourself. Now I say goodbye, but before I go, I will tell you again, be quick. Time is of the essence.